Peace and love, everybody. I'm Isis Brantley. I just got through interviewing with real life street stars. You know, this is all new to me. I need you guys to go subscribe. I need you to, press whatever buttons you need to press to be a part of this new futuristic movement with real life street stars. Isis Brantley. Check us out. Real life.
Real life. It ain't real life. Just ain't real life street stars. Know what time it is.
Real life street stars. Let's go. We got us a very serious situation. We have Miss Isis Brantley. To some of those that are closer to her, known as Yay. And we're here to take a journey with you. A journey of hair. For those who may have heard of your name, Isis, I want you to let them know, it's very rare we get, Dallas homegrown, born and raised, but go and let them know, again, reintroduce yourself, let them know where you are from.
Hi, I'm Isis Brantley. I'm from Banton Nation, which was one of the landmarks for a lot of us that grew up with our own informal economy. Like, you couldn't tell us not to sell our snow cones and redoing hair and braiding hair and cutting hair. We had our own informal economy, and that's where I'm from, and I'm proud of it. I'm a proud descendant of, I call, political prisoners in America, but we call them, slaves. I think our ancestors might call them something different too, but I am a proud descendant. I'm a mother of 5. I'm an activist for women and children. I create solutions. I create jobs. I'm a social entrepreneur, and I am an activist for justice. We're bringing our chairs now, y'all.
There you go. We're bringing our chairs now. We're not asking. We're just bringing the chairs out.
Yeah.
For those who may not know about Banton in Dallas area, can you let them know what sector of Dallas that is?
That is Bear Street, and I think we lived on Tippecanoe. So you had Bear Street, Pilgrim, Valentine, and Valentine was going closer towards Turner Courts. I think that's how you say it. But I'm straight from the hood. My mom and her 5 children were raised in the projects.
And that is South Dallas.
That's South Dallas.
Where the projects used to be.
South Dallas Nation. Yeah, they tore it all down.
Yeah, they tore it all down. Gentrified.
Yeah, they gentrified.
They made it a little nicer over there. But
I know, but
I want you to let the people know, as far as we always like to get a little backstory. And before we even get into the backstory, you, with your history and just to hair and dealing with African hair, like you said, going all the way back to the roots of slavery, which we're going to talk about. What is it? What is the profession called? Is it hairologist? Is it a?
I think it would be professionally called 400 years without a comb.
That is as professional as that is going to get called right now. That's as professional as going to get called. 400
years without a comb.
There you go. Yes. So as we build into the story of your story, I want to kind of get a backdrop of how you grew up. How was coming up, born and raised in Banton area, South Dallas? And you said you were from a single mother?
I'm a single mother with 5 children.
Single mother with 5 children.
Everybody knew not to mess with Billy Brantley's children. Wow. That's all I knew. This lady was short, 5'2", had a big, huge presence in the community. Like, we would literally have shows, people pay a penny to come and see us perform and, see Michael Jackson on stage. And we were just having a lot of fun being kids and being in an environment that we thought was very safe, never knowing that there's other things going on politically around that community, just because we could go next door and borrow eggs and go up the street and get a cup of sugar. It was just so much love. That's what it was like growing up. And my mom's children were very close. We never got caught being out when we weren't supposed to.
Street lights on.
Back then, And you know, the extension cords, they were real. And she didn't mind using them on us, no matter how sweet our kids were. She still had that, you know, that hand that was very tough and strong because she knew she was sharpening our tools. And our aunties and uncles and everybody, you know, were uncles and aunties to everybody. This was your mother next door if they saw you getting out of line. You know, it's not like today. People can say, you know what, I'm going to get you and your mama going to get you when you get home. So it was a very tightly knitted family, kind of like how we were on slave ships and auction blocks and welfare lines.
So let's go and talk about it. You are probably most famously known for being the hairstylist for the great Erykah Badu, Dallas's own Erykah Badu, the queen herself. Mm-hmm. And you're also known for your political activism as far as everything you went through to get to this point and everything you stood for. But, you know, for our audience, they probably would love to kind of get the history of you and Miss Badu first. As far as just how did that friendship or how did that come about?
Erykah would see me in the community, like Harambe festivals and a lot of different things that they did at Bishop College. At the time I was married, and we performed a lot. So we had a group and we performed and we played drums and we talked about political things and poetically. And Erykah would light up like a Christmas tree when she saw me. Like, it literally was love at first sight. And me being like 14 years her senior, so while she was 9, you know, I was 22, 24, and she saw me as a mother figure in the community that was raising my children's nurse everywhere I went. Even people on the news, you know, if they were in the radio, they would be on radio saying, y'all, we going to this event, but tell Isis don't pull her titties out. So it was that kind of thing. So she would see me nursing the babies and seeing just, you know, me as a feminine divine in the community. And she loved it and came back every year, all the way up to now. You know, we still have a very loving and respectful relationship.
Yeah, I can see your energy, and I can see Erykah's energy, and I can see her possibly being influenced by some of your energy, especially if it's from a young age as 9 years old.
Absolutely.
Do you feel like that you had some kind of influence over her spirit?
I know it. She would ask, like, yeah, you know, why you burn the candles? Or why you do this? I want to be a vegetarian. Can you teach me how to be It was just like a mother and a daughter relationship. And then it progressed into sisters. And then it progressed into family. So we always, if I saw her right now, it would be love at first sight. There's just a innate love that we carry. You never know. We may have the same ancestors because the love was so strong, not knowing that this would become her life. Yes. And that the world would light the candles before her. Who would have known that? She knew. She is so brilliant, just a genius, and she could see. And that's how we're here to be the change that we want. Yes. So I was walking in my light and she was following. Oh, okay, I like that. I like that. I want that. I want that. So here you go.
We'll come back to some of that in a second. I want to kind of get your back to your upbringing as far as you know, what kind of molded you into who you are today? You said you had siblings. Were you the youngest? Were you the oldest?
I was the oldest.
You were the oldest, so they had to follow you.
They followed me.
Yeah, you were.
I don't know if I was a good example, but you know, I was very rebellious, very rebellious. So my mom was 14, and I was born on her birthday, October 7th.
Amazing.
15, and so I was her backbone.
Amazing.
I was her backbone. Yeah.
How would you say was your high school, you know, kind of getting into your womanhood? How was that time for you? Because you're coming up in a very, you know, where America is a lot of turmoil going on, a lot of things going on as far as with us dealing with, you know, racism still. We're dealing with we're still dealing with colorism and things of that nature. A lot of things are going on, and here you are. And I don't even know if your interest is in hair yet at this point, but
it's interesting that you asked that, but it was definitely my interest in beauty. How I saw us as beautiful. So that was very paramount in my life. When they would look for me, I would always be in the mirror. Something about me and the mirror. So I would always be in the mirror, right? So I got some ideas to put on my little look so I can look like I Dream a Genie or something, you know. Something. that was the time. My mother purposely kept us away from all the turmoil and all the racism, because she went through much of it, but she kind of shielded us and wouldn't let us watch certain things on TV because there was like a lot of uproar during the time that I was coming up, especially during the 60s and the 70s. So we never were allowed to do that. When I went out in public, I don't know if that made me smart or dumb, because I didn't know that going to the back of H.O. Green's was an insult. All I knew is that I'm going into H.O. Green's. We get to leave and go across the track and go downtown. That's all I saw. So somehow she made it all fun to us, even though there was a lot of killings, a lot of rapists, a lot of bad energy going on at the same time in that part of Southern Dallas, South Dallas. But we just saw everything as this is how it's supposed to be. I didn't think I was going to be a revolutionary fighting for the right to braid hair. That's not what I did. I was one of the kids that grew up in the community that wanted to be a star, that wanted to do something great, that was on Operation Soul. Do you remember Operation Soul?
I don't remember Operation Soul. What is that, like a Soul Train?
It was like a Soul Train.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
That was years ago, me and my sister. So we always
Operation Soul. Is there video footage of you out there?
We've been trying to look for
have to go look for something.
We was dressed in these beautiful multicolored, I guess you would call them, I don't know, the pants that flared out.
Yeah, like
anyway,
bell bottoms.
Bell bottoms,
yes.
But they were short. And we were dressed up very beautiful. Me and my sister were singing. So we just wanted that creative part of life. We weren't really trying to be the bad guys or go beat up the bad guys or anything like that. In school, it was always me on talent shows.
Okay.
I would always be
pursuing a dream.
Mm-hmm. I didn't know why. Yeah. It was just a passion.
Was there somebody in Hollywood or on TV or music that you just kind of idolized, that you wanted to kind of...
Diana Ross.
Oh, Miss Diana Ross.
You don't know what's happening right now. There's a picture with Erykah Badu, me, and my baby, Diana Ross. Do you know Diana Ross?
Hey, I'm here.
Y'all don't know Flying the Boss. Y'all need to check Flying the Boss. And Missy Elliott and all of the crew, that they're the next hip-hop sensation. But she's on my back, and I'm braiding Erykah's hair, and she's looking around at Erykah, and they're locking eyes.
Oh, wow.
50 years later.
That's a picture that's
my baby is Flyana.
Wow.
And Missy Elliott is singing a remix to their song. They're on tour right now with Janelle Monáe. But my point is that you just never know.
You never know how this thing turns out, man.
Never know.
What do you say to the greatness of Diana Ross? And, for everything she was. And I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to show you a picture of my mother, because she looks just like Diana Ross.
Really?
And my mother loved Diana Ross, like, to the T. And I go back and I look at, like, on Netflix, they just had The Wiz was on Netflix. And I'm like, most kids probably look at that and like, what is that? I'm like, no, Diana Ross and Michael Jackson were in a movie together.
Loved her, yes.
And what do you feel about what Diana Ross is to America, to this society, to Black America as well?
She's phenomenal. I never hear anything negative about Diana Ross. Nobody would ever fix their mouths to say anything other than, I love this woman. I love this queen. I love this feminine, divine energy that steps into her rightful place unapologetically. Yes. I love her. I love her being an Aries, being a very strong fire energy. Yes. That really resonates with me, my spirit too. She's She's a great artist.
She's just an amazing
dynamic. I don't even know the words. She's
amazing
phenomenal.
Artist.
Phenomenal. Woman.
With that being said, of course, her being a motivation, again, you becoming of your own womanhood. As we were asking, as far as your interest in even doing hair, was that something that was self-taught?
Self-taught, yeah.
By necessity.
Because I did everyone's hair in the projects. Like everybody would come, because you look at the pretty girls, you're like, okay, in Africa they look at you if your hair is not intact or if it's all over your head, they think you are insane. So you look at the women that you can tell, she spent a lot of time in the mirror, or she adorns herself, or she loves herself, or whatever it is. She's a narcissist, or whatever they say. My point is that they saw me always doing stuff in the community, and everybody would want this. And we saw people that were older than us, our elders, doing the same thing. So we kind of followed in the footsteps of those that came before us. But yeah, I was always into adorning, and I just knew that would be something that I would always do. That creativity just came naturally.
You were good at it?
I think I was good at it.
Okay.
I was very good at it. I could be on the set now. I remember my oldest daughter was working with Samuel L. Jackson and Bernie Mac. And I remember they called me in, Soul Men. Her credits is on there.
What's your daughter?
Taliba Newman.
Okay.
She's in New York, my oldest. And she was working on there, and it was like, yeah, you got to put this wig on Samuel L. Jackson. And I was like, how is this wig going to fit on him? And when he came out and took his hat off, I saw that it was easy to fit it on him. So I could do things like that, but I never reached out to the industry in that way. I just stayed in the communities. I'm always focusing on my immediate environment.
Oh man, I would have went to Hollywood, and
I could have.
Yeah,
I could have, even with voiceovers, with everything that my daughter is doing now. Not the oldest daughter, she's badass too, but my baby girl, Diana, oh my God, she's living the whole dream that I've always. She woke me up, wake up, Sleeping Beauty. I'm here now. She's here. She's there. She's making it happen. Both she and Bobby. So shout out to them.
There you go. So you actually did do Samuel's wig on Soul Man?
No, I didn't want to glue it on. That's the only thing. I think I was too fixed and not flexible enough.
I know what you mean.
So I even was talking to a friend, Jonathan Wright.
Yes, I am Jonathan.
I am Jonathan, and he's going to do something really
he's
beautiful.
He's the hair. Yeah, he's the hair guy now.
But I went by, and he was like, "Okay, I want to do this with you with the glue." I was like, "Oh no, not no glue.
I'm fixed. The way this is supposed to be.
No glue." He was like, "Oh yeah, that's right. We can't do glue." And I'm like, "Yeah, we can get to know each other because there's so many ways to adorn our looks." It's not just one way.
So let's do it like this. Let's talk about the history of I guess you could call it the African hair, because of course before Americans we were African. What is your thought process when it comes to our hair, male, female, and then what causes us to want to change it?
Politically, we were imprisoned. Yes. We were enslaved. Black hair in this country, pretty much all over the world, was enslaved. I don't know if people really understand what that means. But when I think about the oppression that we had to endure, not only just with colorism, but also with our hair. In every Southern church in America, the European comb, we call it the rat tail comb, that's made trillions of dollars off of us, still is to this day, hung at the front door of every Southern church. And if your hair did not pass freely through the comb, you were denied membership of that church. Our hair was enslaved in this country. That's the first thing they enslaved. They dipped our hair in lye, L-Y-E, and they cut our hair off because that's our God source. That's our energy that connects us to the heavens. Our hair grow up, other hair grow down. So we have a direct connection to God, and that's what the Africans believe, that God nestled in our hair. So I think that that's what happened. Then the Europeans, or whatever discrimination or racism, grew out of wanting to be like these Black people so badly. Oh, I just want their hair. Oh, I want their skin. I just want their talent. I just want them. I want everything about them. Whatever that energy and that insatiable urge to want to be us so bad caused a lot of things to ripple in our identity, to wash away who we really were and who we really are. We're getting back to it, which is a beautiful thing. But they would have products called the kink killer. Yeah. As we know, gentle treatment today, or the curl la cure, or not kinks crazy, or the nigga hair coupon.
Yeah.
Y'all can look this up.
Hair coupon.
The nigga hair coupon.
Wow.
You would cash the coupon in so that you could get, you owe it to your race to make yourself look better. So what would you like? You want some cream to change your color? You want sodium hydroxide to make your hair straighter? And not saying anything to the industry that still believe that sodium hydroxide is the only way they can really fit in. That's the way you make your money. That's the way you make your money. That's cool. I have no qualms about the industry in that way. I'm just saying what changed the baby was when you threw the whole water and the baby out the damn window.
Yes.
That's what changed everything, and that's what changed everything about our hair. We never had anything. The slaves had to hide what they didn't know. They created the straightening comb. We think that Madam C.J. Walker created it. She didn't. It was the blacksmiths in the homes. Wow. We realized that leftover dishwater liquid would condition our hair. We used starch to clean our scalps. You know what I'm saying? So we're still using a lot of this stuff. Then it turned into bacon grease, and then it turned into axle grease, and then now we have Blue Magic.
So normally in the Black community, and I'll just be frank, normally we have nappy hair. Mm-hmm. Like you said, crinkly.
Circly.
Circly, beady bees.
Yeah, I love it.
As Black men, our hair grows very tangled. As Black women, hair grows very entangled. Technically, and I just want your thoughts on it. Prior to even us coming over to this country, do you feel like any chemicals were needed for the hair, or did we just wear our hair as is? As you wake up, you walk out, and whatever gets in it stays in it. You wash it out with regular water, call it a day. Or were they adding chemicals to their hair back then, even in Africa, do you feel?
I don't think it was the kind of chemicals that we may add today. Maybe there were herbs and, powders and things like that might have been used. Because, that's a good question, because there's nothing new under the sun. I don't think there's nothing we're doing that has not been done.
Correct.
I really don't. It's just the method in which we're doing it and the caustic chemicals that we are using to beat ourselves down, to Correct. Make ourselves less than, which we don't have to do that. I remember the chemicals, sores in the scalp. I remember the pressing, being knocked upside the head because you won't keep still. And I see children today in the salon that are getting relaxers, and how, it changes their natural love for self. Oh, you're thinking that, and then they have to convince you once you do that and you go through that, look in the mirror, see? You look so pretty, but there's nothing wrong with you the way you were.
So back in, let's just say, between the 30s, 40s, and 50s, kind of going into the 60s, after, World War II, Blacks were looking to become more domesticated, getting better jobs outside of, black towns. We were trying to, of course, integrate. In order to integrate, of course, we wanted to look as our bosses look, as our peers looked. Yeah. So especially with black women, they were doing everything they could to try to, like you said, straighten their hair.
Lighten their skin. And if their skin was light, it's supposed to come with straight hair to almost mimic what a Caucasian would look like. Yeah. What are your thoughts as far as on that era of even when you're trying to break into Hollywood back then? That's so sad.
To try to almost mimic what they seen in front of them.
Almost mimic. They did mimic. They had to. Yeah. I mean, if that was the way they were going to eat, they had to comply with all of that craziness. But then they started to speak out. There's something inside of us where the ancestors whisper to us all the time. Wake up, baby. Wake up. Wake up. You're bigger than this. There's more to you than this. And many have spoken out against the oppression, just, having to be somebody else. How can you be somebody else? Like, God.
So
it's gotta be hard.
Yeah, we're gonna jump around a little bit because I want to ask you about your thoughts as far as right now. We see a lot of people going to get Brazilian hair, Indian hair, the wigs and the extensions they put on. Yeah. And it's all to make their hair look almost like, the Kardashians or, Middle Eastern. Yeah. They're really trying to go for the Middle Eastern look. And this is, of course, in black women ourselves, to where most black women do not wear their natural hair.
So most black women couldn't wear their natural hair. In America, it was against the law to wear your natural hair. Most women had to wear the I ain't your mama rag around their head. Most women could not be seen in front of massa with your hair exposed. So most black women cannot be equated or just, there's no comparison there. Most black women are the original women. Yeah. They are the mothers of humanity. Yeah. So most black women are the ones that have the story. They have the story to tell. We shouldn't feel bad because you don't like to wear your natural hair. That's what you were taught. But you can do something about it now because now we're shifting the paradigm. We don't no longer have to hide behind anything unless we want to. This is a multi-trillion-dollar business, wanting Brazilian hair, wanting the Indian hair, the Asian hair, whatever hair you're looking for. I understand it's a business. It's a business. And if you want to try that on for size just to see how you look with that, I don't see anything wrong with that. I think black women should imagine whatever look they ever wanted in their life. It's your dream world. This is your stage. What the fuck do you want now? Do you want this hair, that hair? Do you want to sell the hair? Do you want to become, the corporation for the hair? What do you want to do? Do it. Do your thing. And can't nobody say shit about it. And if they do, they're hating. I don't want to compare you to the Middle Easterners, the Asians, the Caucasians. I don't want to compare you to the Hispanic, the Latinos. Just be you, because everybody want to be you. Everybody want to be us. Even those that don't like what you see, they want that just for one day.
Oh yeah. And we're gonna go deeper into that, but let's take it one step at a time because I definitely want to segue into this book, Stolen Crown: Black Hair Stories 400 Years Later.
Yes, I'm glad you're asking the questions you're asking because a lot of our situations is because we did have to hide our hair and we did have to cover our hair. And today we do want Brazilian hair, and that's what happened with this lady. I wrote this book. Put this together in 95, 96, 97, held on to this powerful information for about 2 decades and decided to go ahead and put it all together. This book is dedicated to one of my clients, Chandra Lewis, who committed suicide. If your family is out there, peace and blessings, who committed suicide because a licensed cosmetologist took all of her hair out in the crown. And what he did was took Brazilian hair, glued it, relaxed her hair first, relaxed it with sodium hydroxide, took the straight hair, Brazilian, whatever it was, hair, and added it on. So he did this to her every 6 weeks. Take it out. And during that time, not only did we have to hide our hair, but we haven't had any, I don't even think to this day if we have any good removals, anything that would remove glue from our scalps. I'm not sure. But he would snatch it out and then re-perm it and then re-glue it back together. So this book is dedicated to her.
What is her name?
Her story is in here, Chandra Lewis.
Chandra Lewis. And you stated she almost committed suicide.
She tried it the first time when it happened.
Wow.
Because she just asked him, take it all out. I don't want the glue anymore. I don't want to relax it anymore. Just take it all out. And when he took it out, it was a male client, stylist too. She looked in the mirror, all her hair was gone, bye-bye.
Wow.
No hair at the top, and it freaked her out. So she called me and said, I have alopecia. And she knows that I braid hair to cover the lost hair, because I work with a lot, at the time I was working with a lot of cancer patients and women that were going through remission. But anyway, she called me and I said, sure, I could do something. I had her to write her story though. Yes. And her story is in this book. Why did you try to shoot yourself? And she just said, I hate myself. I can never be a real woman again in public with no hair. And then her husband reminded her quite often that her hair was gone. So they would fuss and fight about little things, and then he would just, I don't know, he would talk about her really badly. So the second time I did her hair twice. The first time she came with the story. The second time she came back to get it done, but it was because she was planning her death.
Wow.
That Saturday I did her hair. That's Monday she committed suicide.
So she got her hair done.
And I had to go to the funeral home just to see if that was her in that casket with my hairstyle, and it was.
She got her hair done to commit suicide.
To commit suicide. Mm-hmm.
Wow. Did she ever kind of give you a notion during that hair appointment that
she said she was not going to think like that anymore, because we talked about it the first time, and she said, I'm very insecure about my hair. It's gone. I have no hair. Do you know how many women out there that don't have no hair? And it's not from no alopecia. I mean, it's not from cancer or anything like that. It's from traction alopecia.
Yes.
Like they literally are doing styles like what she said he did and snatching the hair out, relaxing it again and gluing it again, snatching the hair out, and they're doing that repeatedly too. They don't care anymore. They are bald, all the hair has been snatched out, and they glue the wig on their heads. They're pretty girls too. So they're doing that.
And let's
what we do, God.
And as we're speaking on it, let's just touch on alopecia itself. Can you let people know what alopecia is? Just
there's so many different levels or different types of alopecia, and the alopecia that we see more than not in our community is areata, alopecia areata, and alopecia. It's called traction alopecia. Traction alopecia, you see it a lot with the braiding, the tight wigs, the grandmothers that have gone to church for years just wearing wigs that are really tight on their heads. All of the hair has been rubbed out around the frontal. Alopecia areata, it has a lot to do with your blood. So a lot of young girls that go into college, or a lot of children that eat a lot of sugar and a lot of dairy, you'll see them losing their hair. You just go to sleep one night and you wake up and there's no hair right there. Like, where's the hair? It could be locks, braids, afros, straight hair, relaxed. It doesn't matter. The patch of hair is gone, but that's letting you know that you have to clean. It's time to clean your blood. It happened to my daughters, both Taliba and Flyana.
Around what age?
They went to college. Okay. So Taliba had to be 19, and it was stressful. It was their first time going off to college. Taliba went to Columbia University, and Yinka went to the new school in LA. But I just told him what to do. Get off the sugar, stop stressing, get you some tea tree oil, get you some neem, go get some peppermint, mix it up with some aloe vera, just
I heard the tea tree oil. I heard that.
Mm-hmm. And put it directly on there and get off the dairy and sugar. It'll come back. It'll come back.
Alopecia.
But traction alopecia, you can't bring it back. We pulled our hair out and we're still doing it with the braids and how people are braiding. That's why I love my school. I got to get people to sit with me. Like you're saying, somebody reached out to me from Instagram today saying, I am a loctician and I want to know, and she said, I'm a loctician and I teach locks. And I want to know if you want to come to my school. That is so funny.
Oh, wow.
That's like me asking Harriet Tubman, hey, come back now.
Let me show you how to
lead these people.
Right.
I'm like, really? Me come to your school? I was like, so I just gave her the whole rundown, like, oh, baby, I started the movement 40 years ago. Don't forget your forefathers and foremothers. And how about we can collaborate and you come on over to the Institute of
all these kids, they always think they could turn the game new. I got a question as far as with alopecia. Is that only prevalent in black women? Can it be in black males and Mexican white women?
Anybody can get alopecia. Anybody can share areata.
Okay.
Blood disorder. It's in your immune system is breaking down and it's affecting your blood. And then everything that happens internally comes out through the skin. Like if you got issues going on with your skin, best believe it's time to get some burdock in your blood.
Burdock. There you go. I don't know what burdock is, but I'm going to look it up.
Burdock.
I'm going to look it up. I say that to say, I want your thoughts because as you stated, your client who committed suicide due to, the insecurities of her hair.
Right.
We see the same thing happen with Jada Pinkett. To where, not saying this was the scenario, but she was dealing with alopecia. It's something that she took very seriously and she kept internal with her family. And then you see something like the Oscars where Will Smith, the G.I. Jane joke.
Yeah.
And then Will Smith does what he does. And from your experience with hair, do you feel like it is that serious to where that joke will move this house because you don't know what we deal with based on her hair?
Man, I thank him. That wasn't even him. That was one of the ancestors that came back to slap the shit out of him. Like, don't you embarrass us ever again in public. Don't ever do that. Jada was dealing with alopecia when she was wearing all those braids. She knew that even for those movies, that certain texture, heaviness of braiding, when you braid, and it's not compatible to your own strands, like how I see them braiding kids' hair today. That's ridiculous. Who does that? So that's what was happening. Most people braid and put a lot of fiber on top of your natural strands. And over a period of time, it's going to weigh down and it's going to pull out. And that's what happened with her and many others in the, that whole movie film industry. Yes. It's really sad. But I was happy that Will Smith, kudos to Will Smith. I just love it when a black man stands up for his woman. And even if it's not just his woman, but women. Yes. It's important.
And that's what it goes back to. People keep overlooking the insult of her hair and comparing it to...
they don't want us to talk about black women nothing. She's supposed to be bald-headed. She's supposed to not be loved. She's supposed to be ugly, dark, and unattractive. That's the picture they've painted. Yeah. I feel sorry for us. But we're doing something about it because we know that's a bunch of hateration. Yeah. People just hating on you. That's it.
Just hateration. So I want to speak on braiding. The method of braiding. And this is going to be a detailed conversation in regards because there's so many layers to it. And I want to say, I'm a little younger. I was first introduced to, braids that what made it famous was Poetic Justice. Yeah. Where Janet Jackson, who we normally see Rhythm Nation, Bob Cut. It's almost like if I would have seen like Whitney Houston with cornrows or something. It'd have been amazing. But Janet Jackson kind of really brought just the braid and
box braids.
The box
braids.
Doing right today. The fact that the movie was based on her
poetic justice braids.
Yeah, the poetic justice braids. Yeah. She was working in the hair salon, and she was very, it was very woman. It was very black woman celebrating hair
Yes.
in that movie.
And femininity, and
yes.
sexuality, and sensuality, all of that.
Shout out. It's funny because I would love to have seen Maya Angelou with braids.
You know?
I would love to have seen it. When it comes to braiding, when did braiding begin, would you say? Because it's something I didn't see quite in the 70s or 80s. It was afros back then. It was maybe jerry curls. Both men and women wore jerry curls back then. When did that start coming prevalent?
They were braiding in the late 60s, early 70s. Did you ever watch Soul Train?
I've seen Soul Train. I got like pigtails. I mean, I know like Pippi Longstocking.
They had long braids like what we are making today.
They had the 30 inches?
Yes. They had the 30 inches back then.
I got to go find a picture.
Man, you got to find it because that's what inspired me. Okay. But braids, even with Janet Jackson, the braiders are not skilled enough to know how to braid without making it so heavy. Even with her braids, everybody's trying to mimic Janet Jackson's look, but they don't have the type of strands. And Janet shouldn't be doing it either because she definitely has soft strands as well. But the thick braids is what a lot of people are asking for even today. Give me the box braids. Give me the bohemian braids. Yes. I want the poetic justice braids. So all these different names are coming up. But everybody's hair strands cannot sustain that amount of weight. So there's way too much hair on your head. So you got to braid where the weight is even. I call it weight compatibility. So
where does it start? Because I see a woman, even men, when it comes to locks, trying to grab hair that ain't there. I don't
know why they do that.
And I'm like, when I see it being pulled, once the braid is completed, and I'm like, I see it, the gravity of it pulling down, it's like, much. I don't know how long this is supposed to last.
It's not. You see, when you see women with the braids, cornrows going back, just look at the top of the braids and you'll see like follicles. That's pulled right from the roots sitting there. We used to call it dandruff. We didn't know any better. Braiding our hair, leaving it up for 7 and 8 months. People still doing that. I'm like, that was back in the late 70s. Early 80s, we were just loving the fact that we could braid our hair and that we can look different and we can look exotic and we can be pretty with braids. But we weren't thinking about the health and the wellness of that particular technique. So how it started is us Black Americans, I don't know what you want to call us. If I say African Americans, you're going to think about
you're gonna have some people
from Nigeria and Ghana. You know, we were the ones that started the whole braiding concept. Right, doing the Angela Davis time, you know, doing that time when brothers and sisters were, you know, Black Power. We were the ones that were braiding. And we did back in the day when I was young, too. It wasn't the Africans that came over and braided hair. They saw us braiding hair. Now they dominate the industry with braiding now. They came over working with cars and being insurance people and, you know, doing some other stuff. You know? But they weren't interested in braiding at all. So that goes to the sisters out there, you know, and I really want these sisters to show up at my parade and my festival, my Crown Parade and Festival coming up.
Yeah, I can't wait to talk about it. We're definitely going to go all the way through there as far as the festival. When it comes to braids, as far as how much hair should you, at what point should you braid hair? Because I've seen babies get their hair braided.
No babies should be wearing extension braids, y'all. Why?
I see it.
Oh my God. And if they cry in the chair, you take them out the chair and wait till you find a stylist that's not going to abuse them.
So if they're crying, that's a problem.
That's abuse. Yeah. If they're crying, they're letting you know this ain't right. But you know, I see the baby boys crying too with the haircuts. Like, some ain't right about this. No. But what you're doing, you're initiating them? Why? It's unnecessary. I see it all the time. In my school, I train foster care mothers. These are mothers who have gone out and gotten their law degrees, or they got doctors, they're doctors, lawyers, and they adopt Black babies. And when I say Black babies, I mean babies with tightly textured hair like ours. They come in and they learn how to braid and twist their baby's hair.
Wow.
More so than we do. We want to know. We just feel like it's okay to say, girl, I don't know how to braid hair. Girl, I got 5 daughters. I don't even touch their hair. That ain't okay. Like, really?
Yeah, should every black woman daughter should learn at least a braid? They should be braiding the Barbie doll's hair.
That's right. Not a Barbie doll. Their own children.
Okay.
Like, bring your babies.
I thought you learned to do like a Barbie doll or something.
You can learn on a real live doll or a Barbie doll if you want to.
Right.
But yeah, so they should come and patronize the school because, you know, you want to learn and you get mad because the white lady knows how to braid very well. Like, they come, they pay their money, and they take the class, and they're serious about it.
What are your thoughts on micro braids?
That's what I did for Badu, Erykah Badu. I influenced the hip hop community.
Talk to him.
Erykah Badu was my model.
Talk to him.
She was my model. So during the time she started wearing the long braids down to the floor, like what we see today, you know, she was getting Grammys and all types of things. And nobody ever tried to mimic that hairstyle. No one.
Never.
No one in the industry. Not Jada, not Queen Latifah, nobody.
You would have thought.
You would have thought that they would, but they asked. Now, they did ask.
Yes.
But, you know, Erykah's like, I did magically got this in my dream, and then I woke up and it was there. You know, that kind of thing. But, so I like micro braids, but again, come and get the training, please, because every fiber is different. Even the human fiber is different from the synthetic fiber. So if you're using these different fibers, you got to know how to work them where you don't pull so tightly on the scalp and pull people's hair out.
Synthetic versus like human, or? Yeah,
synthetic, maybe monoacrylic fiber or linen fiber. There's so many different fibers.
I see.
Human fiber is a lot straighter. So you have to braid a lot tighter just to hold it together. And I don't like to fight with the hair. If your hair don't dictate you having straight hair in it, I personally don't do it. I don't go against the natural rhythm of life, be it your hair, your private parts, your whatever.
Yeah.
I don't go against it. I don't.
For those who might want to have seen your work with Erykah Badu, as far as either braids or just any type of hairstyle, what are some either moments, award shows, or videos? Yeah,
several things. I remember when she went to Africa with the long braids, and it took. Now, mind you, it took us 100 hours.
100 hours.
To put the piece together.
That's what?
Strand by
that's like
strand
4 days.
Strand, but it was she made me take off the whole week.
Yeah.
So she paid me to take off the whole week, and I brought my clients with me, like not clients, my students.
Yes.
They were training with me to her house, and my daughters, the students, her sister, we just had a whole soft stroke braid class.
Wow,
Everybody knows. She would braid the hair or feel the people braiding the hair. She's like, yeah, feel this one.
That's not
the soft stroke braid.
So she was focused on each braid.
Each braid and the rhythm of each braid. Like how soft and smooth the braid was. And you could tell. And if you just look at just regular people who have braids and pick up the braid, you can see the tension in the braids, and then you can see the relaxation in the braids. And there were only a few people during that time that braided like that. Yoded, anybody out there, Yoded fan? Ibada Rataroon, because she passed away. But Yoded and Isis, she was from Ethiopia. Those are the two that had that really soft braid. And that's what Erykah wore her whole life. Now she's trained to do her own hair now, so they're doing her own hair, and it ain't no Isis Badu braids. That's whatever they doing.
It's whatever,
they doing braids.
So you did her Africa trip. Any other moments, events that could be recalled?
A lot of moments. The Love of My Life video with everybody there. Yeah, that we did her hair for that one. All the Grammy awards that she received, we did the braids on that one. Just in and out of her career.
How was it like when you see her accepting a Grammy and you know that you were the tactician on her hair?
Erykah, tell the world.
Tell the world.
Who did your hair?
Are you focused on her hair when you see her up there? Are you like looking at trying to see how? Just how.
That's my work,
Yeah,
brother.
right.
Yes.
I
mean, I was in all these different public. How you say it? Publications with Erykah. Essence magazine,
yes.
Braids and Beauty. It's just so many different ones.
Yes.
But she shouted out my name in those, I'm like, thank you very much. Because, an artist, they don't play about that shit.
I'm sensitive about my shit.
Very sensitive. They don't play about that.
Definitely. Well, I'm glad, for that experience as far as even with dealing with Erykah, helping her braids out. But does she still call on you if ever gets a tough moment? Or is she like, I got it? I'm at a point I'm aware of
I think if she had a tough moment, absolutely, she would call on me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But now Puma is braiding. Everybody is braiding. It's just, woohoo. Everybody is just, braiding goddesses right now. And that's the beauty of it.
So when you walk in and you see a bunch of 8-year-old girls braiding hair, that's a blessing.
God. I have 8-year-olds that I teach. I have 5-year-olds that I teach.
Oh, man.
I have a braiding camp that I do with children every year.
I can't braid for nothing personally. I'm gonna try to take some braids. I'm gonna see what I can do. I don't know.
I bet you can braid.
Yeah, I don't know. These hands.
I bet you got the rhythm. It's just rhythm.
And what's crazy is, again, black men who I see have like a little bitty fro.
Yeah.
I see them getting braided up. When you see like a Drake getting braided, where like when you see what he's doing with his hair, what are your thoughts as far as his hair texture, him getting braided? Is it damaging?
I don't want it to end up like Stevie Wonder.
Yeah.
Like you can be a good braider. That's what I'm saying. All of you, I love you. I'm not hating on you. But if you don't know what you're doing and you got a heavy hand, thick like your mouth, cuss everybody out, all that real heavy energy. Don't braid anyone's hair. And I watched the sister, even though I had the opportunity to work with Stevie Wonder as well. I didn't want to because I could already see where all of his hair was leaving. And you
could really see,
And the sister, pretty much, she was a great braider, but pulled it all out. And so the same with Drake, you got to be careful who you allow to touch your head. That's very important. And Jada can tell you that. Everybody just can't come and put their hands in your head. And the grandparents used to say that all the time. Be careful.
Is there a time frame in which someone should not go with braids? Because sometimes, like you said, they would take braids out and then re-braid every 6 weeks or so. And it's like you never give your hair a chance to relax or regrow.
You have to. And especially with children. I know adults would say, no, I got to go to work. I got to fly to Michigan. I got to fly here. I won't be able to give myself a break. And I tell them a lot of my life with braiding is based on integrity. If you don't have integrity and you don't care about your hair, I can't be the one to heal your head. Because my healing through the hair movement is important to me. I'm not going to keep doing something that's going to be aggressively damaging to your follicles. I won't do it. And I do that all the time. People call all the time. I just got a perm 3 weeks ago. Can you braid my hair? No, I can't. I can't. But there's somebody out there that will.
What are your thoughts on locks on men? Jamaicans, long locks, how long they should grow, how long, the upkeep of doing locks?
I think locks are beautiful, but I think YouTube University is teaching too many people how to do the maintenance on these locks incorrectly. Mm-hmm. So a lot of guys that are out there, they have beautiful hair, beautiful locks, but over a time, like a period of maybe 9 months to a year, the twisting and palm rolling and dryer and product will loosen the locks at the roots. You start falling out, literally falling out. Come to the class. I'm here. I'm here in Texas. You can't erase me. I'm the reason why you're able to even do locks. I'm the reason.
Oh, man.
For the money season. So I'm here, and I can teach you other ways to adorn the locks.
If Lil Wayne walked into your class and you seen his lock set up, what advice would you say for Lil Wayne? Because he's been, since he was a kid, been growing these locks to where now, I don't know what's going on with them. They look a little disheveled. And also, I think Jay-Z's going a little, yeah.
I like it. If that's your look, why am I change it? I'm not here to design your look for you.
What advice would you give, though, as far as to...
Just make sure that you're massaging your scalp and make sure that he's using products that you can eat. If your products, you can accidentally eat a little bit and it's nothing going to happen to you, something like that. No parabens and sulfates, you know, and I'm sure he's on a holistic diet because I could tell by looking at his locks that, you know, because a lot of people that eat crazy pizzas and McDonald's and crazy nasty food, you can look at their locks and tell. You can see the food in their locks.
Wow. So like someone like Jay-Z, where you see his hair growing healthy, to someone who is trying to grow their hair and do it a natural way to be able to have locks. Maybe it's going too slow and they feel like, oh, it's taking too long. I'm gonna just cut it.
Get off the animals.
Get off the animals.
Don't eat no animals and don't eat sugar.
No sugar.
Your hair will grow faster. And then incorporate herbs into your diet, like your dandelion and burdock. And just, you know, eat fruits and vegetables.
How long would it take to probably see a change?
Oh, you could see a change within a month. Right away, you'll be able to tell. I grew a guy's locks that way. He is actually a producer, and he came with his hair was really, really, really short. We were talking about this other day. His hair is down here in a year. He said, I changed my diet. I got off the animals. I stopped eating sugar, and this is what I got now. And we only use my products, healing. My healing through the hair.
That's another reason they need to come through.
Because a lot of stuff we do is not the growth. It's internal, though.
Wow. When you see, you know, they show pictures of Black Jesus and showing Black Jesus with braids or locks, do you prescribe to that Jesus was Black in that he had the locks and braids back then?
I don't think that nobody that hung on the cross or the tree was anything other than Black. So I don't know anything other than my own mirror.
There you go. There you go. Now, you were arrested in the late 90s. Can you touch on what you were standing for at that time? What was your cause? And what came out of that? How long were you arrested? Things like that.
There were so many Black women during that time braiding in their houses. And just like me, and they were really afraid to tell people that they were braiding in their homes or in their apartments because they said that they would get a fine and that they would get in trouble. I didn't understand it because I too was braiding in my house for years before the state even realized that there was a braiding movement going on in the state of Texas. So what I stood for was bringing those young women out of their homes into a storefront so that they could be trained to do it and just go to work doing what they naturally could do anyway. I was asking women that were on the streets, didn't know what to do during that time. During the early 90s, late 80s, early 90s, drugs was prevalent. A lot of street walkers, a lot of people trying these different drugs that were put on the streets. A lot of women were homeless, didn't have their other, best half there with them. They were single moms and they didn't know what to do. I was taking them off the streets. Come here, let me show you something. I'm living in this house with my husband and my 2 kids. This is what I'm doing. That's my thing, was trying to find a solution to all of the things that were going on around us at the same time. Women were the ones that were providing for the families. They were the ones, the men were locked up or the men were on drugs or the men were not there. So the women were the ones that were with their hands, using their skills to put food on the table. So my thing was advocacy for women and children during that time and making sure that women could come into any space I was at and braid hair. Back then, I had more women collectively coming together to braid and to train with me than I have today. there were more, because everybody's free now, so it don't matter if they have gone for any continued education or anything like that. They're free to do it. But back then, it was really like you're stepping on, you know, that unfertile ground that might be a hole in it and you might fall in it, that kind of thing. You couldn't tell people you were doing things. I didn't know when I opened up the storefront that I was violating any kind of law. I just knew that this is how we hustle, and this is how we work, and this is how we make our living, and this is how we take care of our families. That's all I knew. And I was helping women do that.
Like if you were to open up a magazine stand and say, hey, I'm just going to braid in the back. They're like, hey.
Yeah.
You need, I guess there's a license you need to.
If you were going to braid in your kitchen, there was a license. If you braid in your living room, there was a license. Black people were told, especially the women, that they could not even braid at the concerts, like the Bob Marley concerts or any of the concerts that were going all around. And guess who was out there braiding every time? White women.
Wow.
But we were policed and told that you can't braid at this concert, or you can't touch anybody's head. It's against the law to touch somebody's head. We're trying to figure out, We've been braiding. We've been sitting in the kitchen, sitting on the back porch, braiding hair. What are they talking about? So it was that kind of surprise to us that, like, you couldn't tell the welfare people that you were trying to get the welfare check from, or you're trying to get the food stamps from, that you were braiding hair. You could not mention anything like that. But people would go and tell on the girls eventually. You pissed somebody off because one braid was shorter than another one. I don't know why they were pissed off, but they would go back to the state and tell the state. That's what happened with me.
Yes, go ahead.
It was the community that went and took my name to the state of Texas. The community schools, but it's all good.
What took place as far as you being arrested? Like, was it a situation where they came to you? Were you protesting? What was the situation that took place?
I wasn't doing anything but minding my own business.
Like out and about?
Yeah, they took my name to the state. So during that time, there's a lot of political stuff going on. Velma B's Beauty College had a lot of people that worked as state representatives and board members. So this is all going to come out in my story, my movie.
Oh yes.
Yeah, I'm trying not to tell too much.
Yeah, not too much, but we want to get them. We want to get them interested. We want to get them a little interested.
I do. But you know, it was a lot of us that were hating on me. Like, they made me the queen of braids of Dallas. Like,
the queen of braids.
All the beauty colleges. It's like, we can't do that. Go to ISIS. We don't know how to do that. Go to ISIS. Everybody, people everywhere. They were even sending people to me. I did Charlie Wilson's hair, just different people that they were just like, come, go to ISIS. She knows. So for them to come against me, all of a sudden, it was just weird to me. But they saw that it was money.
If you don't mind,
they wanted it. They want that money.
Exactly. We gotta get you off the streets. It's almost like you're Frank Lucas. We gotta get you off the streets.
We didn't build you up now.
The blue magic is too tough.
We got to silence you now. Yeah.
How long did you sit in jail, if you don't mind me asking? Was it an in and out, bailed out, and then?
Thank God I had some really loving community leaders that came to my rescue. But it was an all day and all night thing.
Wow.
I shouldn't have been there.
No,
and then I had a trial. So it's just like a lot of things happened that I was like, well, dang, I'm a criminal. I didn't kill somebody.
Right.
Just putting a few locks on somebody's head.
Have they eased up off of the laws or the restrictions that they put on back then? Have they came a little on your side?
They don't F with Texas.
There you go.
No, Texas don't F with Texas. Once they say, and you know what? That's beautiful that you asked. They haven't taken any laws back that they gave us 20 years later, because it was a 20-year fight with me taking my damn chair up to the table because they didn't want me sitting at the table. Like, I don't have to sit there. Here, I'm sitting here. It was 20 years. Wow. But there are states right now that have reverted, that have gone back to regulating braiding in those different states. They won't do that in Texas. I know y'all hate Governor Greg Abbott, but he ain't taking none of that. Even when the extra fire of COVID come back or whatever, he's like, ain't nothing shutting down here. They're not taking it. So yes, we have the right to do a whole bunch of things that I'm gonna talk about and demonstrate in my movie. It's people don't even know. They just don't have a clue.
Man, we have no clue how serious of a business it was. You could pick me off the street and say, "Hey, just told me what your story and what you're telling." There's no way I could have believed that this is serious business like that.
It's serious. It's that dollar.
So I got to ask you about. You mentioned earlier glue in the hair. There was an article that came out, or a situation that came out, where a young lady used gorilla glue.
God.
When you saw that, being the hair tactician you are,
it broke my heart.
Yeah, were you immediate looking at solutions? I mean, what exactly? Because I don't know. I'm like, glue, just go wash it out. In my opinion, like, hey,
we all know that.
But for you knowing what that is and what that does and what Gorilla Glue is, I don't know how the adhesive matter in Gorilla Glue, but what did you think when you saw that?
Honestly, I've never messed with Gorilla Glue. I don't know anything about Gorilla Glue. I never done a lot of things. Now, we pressed our hair with Crisco, but I never effed with Gorilla Glue. And when I saw it, I was like, Black people, we're so ingenious. We're so freaking just amazing that we always come up with something. But it's a story that it leads us to, something that is from behind us, something that we're bringing back before us. And we needed to get that clear in our heads. You can't just go around putting glue on your head. And I guess not Gorilla Glue. Like, why Gorilla Glue? And who made the Gorilla Glue? And is it making trillions of dollars? Like,
right, exactly.
What is going on?
I know it's very strong. It's very strong.
Very strong. Did she have to cut her hair? Because I don't remember.
Man, I remember. I think she had to cut it. I'm gonna look it up because I don't even know what happened to her.
Well, I heard that some Asians helped her, or somebody.
Yes, someone had some type of removal.
But I think it's just a story. And, God has jokes. And I think it's so beautiful when we can see those jokes come alive.
It goes very
and that was a big lesson for so many of us. Like, we have been the laughing stock for the world socially forever, as long as we've known. And we're still dancing, and we still have our stepping fetchets, and we still have our spooks that sit by the door. We still have that. And then when I see that, I'm like, okay, I identify with what it really is. Like, that's stupid, but what's stupid? It's just that you stoop lower than your higher self. So that's all
I like that, stoop lower than your higher self.
Yeah.
When it comes to the invention of the hot comb, I remember seeing a hot comb that my mom used to use on my sisters, where you let it heat up on a cast iron stove, and I'm burning necks. If you go look at a little black girl neck, she gotta have a little boil on her neck.
Ears, that's right.
The ear, right? Roll right here. You have a little boil. What are your thoughts as far as? because they don't use that no more, right? What brought that in and what took that out? Because I don't see it.
I don't think it's taken out. I think it's just a little modified. Now they have what it's called the.
Flat iron? Is that flat iron?
Flat irons and some other stuff, the silky press.
Yeah.
They just have some different products to make it even straighter. But I want to give credit to the blacksmiths and the brothers and sisters back during that time that were political prisoners, that were called, to work the fields and be the agriculturist and all of that, for the greedy generational biases that we deal with on a daily basis. They figured it out. They're just like, dang, they don't want us to shampoo our hair. We can't look in the mirror. We're not allowed to look in the mirror, shampoo our hair. We'll create something to go through this child's hair. And they came up with that fork. It was a fork. And they used the fork. First they used the iron. They iron it. Well, maybe if I iron it, it'll get straight. And then they just kept developing the concept and came up with the straightening. Everyone thinks that Madam C.J. Walker created the straightening comb, but it was the African Black people that came up with the straightening comb.
When you see,
and we're still using it. So to your question, I think we're still using it.
Yes.
It's just a little bit more advanced.
When you see, in public schools, they'll say, hey, you can't wear your hair a certain way. It's a distraction. Black people could get real creative with their hairstyles, but both men and women. Do you feel sometimes we get a little too creative, or do you feel like we should always?
So look, elephant, you can't be a freaking elephant in front of the giraffe. And giraffe, remember, you can't show out in front of the silverback, gorilla. So you got to stay in your place. Okay, excuse me, whatever. Out here in nature, you can't grow the ficus tree. You can't be next to the cactus. What is going on with this? What? Too much? Too what? That's what's wrong with us. We got to forget what people are saying about us. It's okay for you to be too everything because you are God. You are God. Ain't no too nothing. I'm sorry that my hair offends you, but you need to figure out yourself why you're offended. Has nothing to do with us. The lady that cut the little girl's hair off in front of the class, that was her hair. That was that baby's hair. She puts her in front of the class because she don't like how the beads are ringing. Everybody needs to ring bells. Make sure y'all ring bells in here in every corner.
I miss the beads and barrettes.
Exactly.
Floating down.
That's how we adorned ourselves. And she got upset because it's a little black girl, majority white children, and she's got too much attention going on. A lot of attention, right? And so she wants to cut. Let me show y'all. This is just a slave. I'm going to demonstrate to you how. I'm going to cut her hair.
Wow.
Cuts that baby hair, thinking it's not her hair. Who does that?
Who does that?
These people, that's why I said we need to stay in our greatness and realize that it's because of the ancestors that we're here. And we can do things now in the body while they're in the heavens, pouring everything down and directing everything. We have an open road right now when we have to stay in that road and not be too concerned about these people and their madness, their sickness. They can't help it.
I just think they kind of upset that, we do it first, and we set the trends.
They know it. They making money off of it. We ain't making the money.
Yeah,
we set the trends, but where's our dividends?
Right. I look at Marge Simpson. Back in the '90s, Simpsons. Flintstones. Wilma used to wear a little bone in her hair, and it's something like I think our culture, we're so us that we'll just say, hey, we'll do that in real life. Even though you think it's something that's,
we
probably...
do that in real life.
In
Let's
real
wear a
life.
bone in our head, right?
Right.
They were afraid. Then we put some spears in our head.
And call it and step out in style.
They're like, I remember when TSA, when I was going through the airport, and I had my big hair, and they were running after me saying there were bombs in my hair. And during that time, for years, they were checking black women with locks and black men with locks and people with afros. They were going crazy. I didn't know that there was a law. That was a lawsuit at that time, but I didn't know.
To play devil's advocate, there was a woman who smuggled like almost 200 pounds of weed in her locks.
She did?
Yeah, it happened.
But see, we shouldn't do that
she
kind of
messed it up for a lot of people.
Oh, you are kidding me.
Yeah, I'm not.
That happened?
I'm gonna have to send it to you because she smuggled a bunch of drugs in her hair.
What?
Thinking she's gonna walk right through, and it happens. So mess it up for us all.
Mess it up for us all. To do that.
With that being said, I do want to get as far as again, you are here because you are. Like you said, an activist. You are, pushing the revolution forward, and it's not just hair. As far as just what your, the femininity, everything about you, of course, is a revolutionary. I feel like the young girls might need to really watch this and really pick up what you're putting down because you're coming from an essence. When it comes to your movie. When it comes to this book itself, and when it comes to the school and everything that you're pushing forward, what all are you pushing forward? What else do you have kind of lined up? What agenda do you want to move forward?
I definitely want to move forward the agenda for everybody to participate in the Braid Freedom Crown Festival and Parade. We will be parading in South Dallas again. This is our 8th annual. We need y'all there. If you have locks, twists, braids, come on, let's show out. I want it to be bigger than it's ever been before. I'm also going to do a challenge to raise money this time, because every year I'm always pouring everything into these events and thousands of people come out and enjoy them. But we're going to be asking people to donate $1, up until the 21st, $5. We're going to have a challenge going on because we need you all to show the world that we are connected and we are collectively, economically pulling our resources together to stand firmly in our rightful places as locticians, braiders. If you're a natural hair care professional, whatever you do that's related to teaching natural hair or helping to groom our younger kids or giving them the opportunity to sit before their students or their friends and braid hair. I don't care what you do. I met a little girl that was 14 years old today. She's a professional braider. I want all the people out. The schools were asking for Duncanville, DeSoto, Cedar Hill, McKinney, Allen, wherever you are, Arlington, Fort Worth, all the braiders come out this particular day, October 21st. It's going to be on a Saturday. The festival will be at, I don't know if y'all like this, but Ann's Health Food Store. I don't know if people go to Ann's Health Food Store, but
be there for that
outside that's where we'll have the festival, looking for singers, poets, illustrators, drummers, a band. If you want to be the band for that event, let's do this stuff together. I've been doing it by myself. It's funny, when I went to jail for braiding and changing the law so everybody can be happy and make money today, nobody was on the front line with me.
Wow.
When it happened in 97, 50 women were there. But for the 20-year span, nobody but me. Y'all get on the front line with me. It's time for us to ride together.
Man, October 21st. What time?
9:30 a.m. Line up for the parade, and 4 p.m. for the festival.
4 p.m. for the festival, October 21st in the southeast of sunny South
It's a
Dallas.
lot going on during October too. The fair is going on, but I know y'all gonna give all y'all money to the fair.
You're gonna be that's in the same area, right?
Up the street.
Up the street. Stop by listen, everybody go out to the parade.
Yes.
Maybe go to the fair for a little bit.
Gould and MLK. Y'all just come on. Bring
come on down to
your trucks, your motorcycles. I don't care. Just come on, Black people. Let's show the people that we are creating diversity and we are creating an open, respectful world for who we are. I say it's our human rights.
So I have to ask you, who do you feel is the better braider? Just the Africans?
I don't think Africans can braid. I don't think Black people can braid. I don't think anybody can braid until they sit down with the foremother.
Ooh.
The foremother. And learn the art.
Learn the art. So
yes.
You could see like a Chinese lady just being cold as long as she sit down and learn?
I wouldn't teach her first. I want my babies.
Yeah. Got to be a little selective. Just a little bit. Just a little bit.
Oh yeah, that's how they do it.
What do you feel is the future of hair braiding? Do you feel like there's going to be any new invention that may come?
I think so. You would be surprised how these babies are braiding hair. It's so beautiful. I think they're going to create some other things. I think by the time, say, another 50 years go, we're going to see more women and men and children with a lot of hair. You
ever seen the movie Avatar?
I did. We are avatars.
What if, the braids connect to each other and that's how
I'm telling you, that's going to be something phenomenal is about to happen.
Yeah, I'm telling you,
I feel it. Something just out of the norm.
The power in the hair.
Yeah, power. That's right. The antennas.
Yeah. Do you feel like with Samson and Delilah that story, he had his strength was based in his hair?
I think so, but I'm not trying to say
Michael
nothing about men that cut their hair. I'm just saying I know so.
Michael Jordan will be upset with you.
Yeah, I know. Sorry, Michael.
Oh,
I still love you.
Before we get out of here, I do want to touch on the event that you blessed this past Wednesday, which was a meeting of the minds where we had a bunch of social media influencers coming in to talk about relationships. You blessed the whole event, and you, of course, was there to kind of see everything that took place. What were your thoughts as far as the event and the conversation and just us as Black people speaking on relationships and trying to love better and be better at love?
Oh, I thought it was so beautiful. We do need to speak on these type of relationships more often. And the trans woman that was there, I think her name is Cindy.
Sydney Star.
Sydney. City Star?
Sydney, like Australia, Sydney.
Sydney Star. She made a very, I hope y'all don't get mad because I say she, but she made a very beautiful point that really, it just touched my heart. She said to the brother that had the 3 wives, she asked him that if he was just a regular man and saw her as a woman, and then later found out that she was a trans, would he hurt her or kill her? That touched
that was tough.
Oh my God, I never even thought of anything like that. But that's their struggle. That's their struggle. So I think these relationships, just for us as Black people, we have been so divided and so separated and so, just stereotyped. We need to fix all of this and come together the way that Meeting of the Minds did. I thought that was very beautiful. Everybody had something different to say. The one young sister just could not believe that it was not okay to be a bully and to bust windows out and to really go and beat somebody's ass. But I saw transformation in her. So that night was all about transformation. I think everybody learned something. The elder learned something from the youth. The young person was, in her thing talking about sagging titties and, who she is and how sugar daddies are good or whatever. We need to hear these things.
We need to hear
These are our babies.
These are real stories.
These are our people, and these are real stories. So me bringing the love vibration there, which is the spirit of water. Everything has water attached to it. The tree grows from the water. The plants grow from the water. Our blood is water. Everything in us and everything in nature and everything in the universe is all connected to the spirit of water. And so that's how we want to move. The spirit of the river is the river that provides everything for everybody. The reason we have trees and we have vegetation, the reason we're able to even clean ourselves, take a bath, have a spiritual bath, that moment with the water. So water has no enemies. And that's what I was trying to show everybody during that special moment, just to acknowledge the fact that we use the honey, when we are upset, if we feel like we want to go bad on somebody, just, put some honey on your tongue.
Dab of honey.
So that everything can be sweet. So it's nature. Nature, if we know that we are one with nature and we pay attention to nature, we can learn so much from nature. And so the bell was there because we ring the bell. I don't even know if I rung the bell.
I can't remember, but I'm going to say you did. And if you didn't, I'm going to say you did.
I think I did, because bells run away Satan. Run away the enemy. Run away anything negative. All you got to do is pull a bell out and start ringing it.
Sonic vibration.
Even if you're in a bad vibration with somebody or arguing with someone, like the energy got really heated during the Meeting of the Minds exchange, I almost picked up that bell. But the bell would run away.
You should have picked it up. I ain't gonna lie. It would have probably shut some things down.
I think so too. But I didn't want... Here it is, you bring in all this beautiful femininity. The river represents femininity, the mother of fertility, the mother of love, and the mother of understanding. You bring in all this stuff, and it's intimidating to people because they don't understand what this is. They think it's you know, because that's what we're told to think. Like, oh my gosh, she got some damn flowers up there. What is that supposed to mean? But we're asking for something. We're asking for a sacred space so that we can share and exchange energy. So we're asking, we got to give something. But in my asking, I'm bringing honey. I'm bringing water. I'm bringing a bell. I'm bringing flowers. That was what that was, because the universe is based upon reciprocity. Everything we want. It could be what we want, but what are you giving? What are you serving? So that was the beauty of the night. I think everybody
Avatar 2, The Way of Water. But I have to ask, because you also mentioned retrograde in the planets.
I did.
And I want you to explain that for those who may not understand.
Well, I try to pay attention. You know, a full moon is coming. So if you're feeling feisty and you're beginning to feel the shift, there might be some disagreement. There may be a lot more sensuality coming your way. You might want to express yourself, you know, in ways that you should. You just should be all that you came here to be. And if men and women can work together during the full moon phase, they can work together during the new moon. So the new moon gets you ready for the full moon. So if you started the new moon out arguing and disagreeing and lying and tricking, then that's what you're going to see in a couple of days, that same energy. Retrograde is all about energy just seeming as though it's stagnant. It's still. But it's moving backwards. Like, so that's just telling us if Pluto is moving backwards, then, you know, be a little bit more organized. If Saturn is moving backwards, then we know that planet, we have to be a little bit more accountable for things that we say that we're going to get done. If Mercury is retrograding and moving backwards, that means, remember when you communicated that way back 9 months ago didn't work. So you're working on your effective communications, because that's what Mercury is all about, just how you communicate. Venus is going backwards. That's the love vibration. So you know that if you're in your relationships and you're having very negative thoughts about not getting enough love or not being able to understand your loved ones the way that you wish to go inward and give that love to yourself. Go inward and fix whatever is going on inside of you. Because everything that we see on the outside is just an illusion. The basic thing for retrograde is for us to go back and do the stuff that we promised that we were going to do 5 months ago. I'm going to clean my car. I'm going to clean my closet. I'm going to get rid of these clothes. I'm going to let these old ass, no good for nothing friends go. We have to go and clean up and then be ready for when the planets start to move forward. You don't fight against it. You know, a lot of stuff is happening, right?
A lot of stuff is happening.
People wrecked,
I feel it. I see
cars,
it.
I feel it. People, the phone, I'm on the phone talking to somebody when it shut off. Oh, okay. Thank you, retrograde. That's the energy.
Wow.
I don't be like, what happened to the phone? No, thank you. Thank you, God.
Okay.
And let that be and keep moving forward.
How long does the retrograde thing last?
It's going to be going on for a minute. I think the end of October. But it's going to pick back up again.
Got to survive it.
Yeah. It's learning to deal with yourself. That's the main thing.
That's
self-reflection. That's it.
That's the real estate.
Because you can't make me act any other way other than good. If goodness is in me and love is in me and I'm patient with everything around me, you can't make me get out of character. Only I can make me get out of character.
Somebody might mess up your order about 4 times. That might make you...
No.
Still won't get you? Still won't get you?
No.
Okay.
No, sir.
Circle that drive-through 3 times. That's a problem. That phone call would be nice.
No.
Definitely. No, it's a blessing to sit here and just go through the wisdom of, what we're speaking on and just going back to the hair.
You.
For those that do want to follow you, purchase this book if it's available.
Naturally Isis.
Tell them exactly where to go find this. Tell them how to follow you personally if you're on social media.
Yes, sir.
school, where to go.
You can get this book, Stolen Crown, from my website, naturallyisis.com. You can purchase it also at my salon, 17290 Preston, and I'm upstairs 206. You can also send me, check me out on Instagram, naturallyisis.com, TikTok, and all the other platforms. But you can DM me as well. If you want classes and you're looking for like a group of young girls, especially mothers that are newly pregnant, I'm really trying to give them something that they can pull on. Just check me out at naturallyisis.com. DM me, let me know, hey, I have a group of girls. If these group of girls are in the juvenile system or what have you, reach out to me. I'm just here to teach the classes to anybody that's ready. Salon owners, if you want to have me come into the salon and help you, increase your income by training people the proper way to do locks. Not saying that
not
I'm
them
perfect.
teaching you how to.
Not you teaching me, but I'm available for that. You can also DM me on that one, Naturally Isis. And don't forget the parade. I need all salon people to come, barbers to come. Bring your banners. It's free. Come on, y'all. This is your opportunity in Dallas to really show how much y'all appreciate being free in this industry. How much you appreciate making your own dollars add up in this industry. How much did you appreciate having your own salon? How many of you that have migrated here that you appreciate being here with this benefit? Come out. I want all of you to come out. I'm inviting you October 21st to come out, where our lineup is at 9:30 a.m. Martin Luther King and Gould Street. That's right there at Gould, where if you keep going straight, you go to Oak Cliff. But if you come back towards the hood, what is that? What streets? Atlanta, Malcolm X, right, yes. and MLK. You'll be right on the right spot for the parade and festival.
You hear the drummers?
What am I listening?
Well, you'll hear some people.
Yeah, you hear the drums, you hear the people, y'all come out. I mean, spread the word, let the schools know. Like I said, Duncanville, DeSoto, Cedar Hill. You have Allen High School, Frisco, McKinney, and then Fort Worth, Arlington. All of you! Everybody is welcome. Now, if I tell you the best thing that you're going to miss if you don't come is a fan of yours. Somebody you really love is going to be there. Okay. So I'm asking you guys to come out. I can't tell you everything,
surprise.
But it's a surprise.
You better be there. You don't want to miss it. You don't want to be left out. You don't want to be in the. You could be in the know. You could be in the now. Don't be on the. You heard about it. In the now, the eternal now. There you go. Isis, is there any shout outs you want to give? Any blessings you want to give? Anybody watching?
I do. I make millionaires. I make people great. I want to give a shout out to my daughters, Flyana Boss.
Flyana Boss.
And I want to give a shout out to Janelle Monet. Thank you for seeing beauty in these girls. And I want to give a shout out to Missy Elliott. Thank you for taking up for them. And I want to give a shout out to everybody all over the world that have played their music repeatedly all over. Hello, Christ. I'm about to sin again. I said I love you to this industry. I'm not feeling it. But anyway, everybody's making their own little twist to it. Shout out to the world. Shout out to the natural hair industry. Shout out to the Crown Act and creating a respectful and open world for natural hair. Shout out to all the politicians and all the people that have made it possible for us to be where we are today.
There you go.
I love y'all.
Well, there you have it, man. Isis Brantley, a.k.a. Yeah. I appreciate you for coming through and blessing us with your essence. It has been nothing but a pleasure. We hope you come back as things go on. Let us know how the parade went. We'll, of course, make sure we be out there. We'll make sure we'll be out there and everything. But I can't wait for the world to get a dose of you. So thank you so much for coming through. Isis, you are a real life street star.
Thank you. Wow.